The woman was about to leave the supermarket when a bullet suddenly struck her arm. Before she could react, another bullet shattered the glass. Only then did she realize that someone was attempting to kill her. She quickly took cover behind a shelf and bandaged her wound with clothing. When she peered out to locate the shooter's position, another shot rang out. Fortunately, her quick reflexes allowed her to drop to the ground. She attempted to retrieve her phone to call for help, but the assailant anticipated her intention and destroyed her phone with a single shot. As the woman felt despondent and helpless, she heard a man's voice nearby. Overjoyed, she looked around frantically and discovered the voice was coming from a walkie-talkie not far away. However, the unobstructed distance alarmed her, as it clearly exposed her to the killer's line of fire. Quick minus thinking, she grabbed some snacks and threw them overhead to distract the shooter, then seized the walkie-talkie and asked the person on the other end to call police. However, the device fell silent. At that moment, a man entered the supermarket. Before the woman could seek his help, the killer shot him dead. The walkie-talkie crackled to life again, with the voice confirming that police had been contacted. To comfort the woman, the voice inquired whether she knew the man who had just been killed. This question immediately alarmed her. The incident had unfolded as follows while she and this man were en route to a hotel. Her boyfriend had called. During their conversation, the man had walked past. Fearing discovery by her boyfriend, she had asked the man to drive her home instead. They had stopped at this supermarket for fuel when the shooting began. The woman realized that the voice on the walkie-talkie might well be the killer himself. After regaining her composure, she understood that she needed to turn off the lights to have any chance of escape. However, as soon as she stood to locate the switch, bullets flew in her direction. In her panic, she pushed against a shelf and accidentally discovered it was mobile. She used the shelf as cover while moving toward the light switch. Seeing her strategy, the killer fired repeatedly, but failed to prevent her from successfully cutting the power, plunging the supermarket into darkness. Something seemed to dawn on the woman. She crawled on the ground to her lover's corpse, retrieved his keys, and pressed the unlock button toward the door. The sudden sound made the killer believe she was attempting to escape, prompting him to fire continuously at the vehicle until the engine was completely destroyed. Witnessing this, the woman lost all hope of survival. At that moment, a car pulled up to the supermarket entrance. She carefully observed the activity outside and saw an unfamiliar man enter the convenience store. Suspecting he might be the killer, she remained vigilant. The man claimed to be a friend of the store clerk. Since the clerk was already dead, the woman could only demand that the man call police. However, he stated his phone was in the car. Before the woman could respond, the man disappeared from her line of sight. Unexpectedly, the man reappeared in front of her by vaulting over the checkout counter. Left with no choice, the woman grabbed an axe to defend herself. Seeing the trembling woman, the man insisted he was genuinely trying to help and was not the killer. The woman remained unconvinced unless he could produce his phone and call for help. Reluctantly, the man proposed that the woman create a distraction while he retrieved his phone. To gain her trust, he approached the vehicle. However, as soon as he opened the car door, the killer detected the anomaly. Several gunshots provided the woman with her answer.